Spring has sprung in the great state of Iowa, and if you've been thinking about getting outdoors with your family during the best time of year, we want to help you here at Plaza RV. We are a locally owned RV dealer in Bondurant who cares about our customers before, during, and most importantly, after your purchase. Give us a chance. We will treat you like family. Buy local. Buy from Plaza RV.
Eric Church Free the Machine Tour. Live at Wells Fargo Arena, Saturday, September 27th. One epic night of music that you won't want to miss with special guest Marcus King Band. Get tickets now at highvtix.com. His new album, Evangeline vs. the Machine, is out now. For more, visit ericchurch.com.
Join us for the Murph and Andy Patio Tour every Friday, continuing next week at Confluence Brewing Company on Thomas Beck Road in Des Moines. Good things come together at Confluence, like Murph and Andy, Friday afternoon, an awesome patio, and the best beer in the city. It starts at 1 next Friday at the Confluence Brewing Tap Room with Murph and Andy and Iowa Everywhere.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere from the Channel Seed Studios. This is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
Welcome into Murph and Andy here on a Monday. One of the things I look forward to is seeing what's on that graphic before the show starts, which is to try to capture what's coming up. Pretty wild one today. I appreciated that. It's Keith Murphy, Andy Fales. No Andrew Downs today. Aiden is in for AD. AD has jury duty.
That is, that's just one of the strangest little wrinkles in our lives here. It doesn't pop up very often, but when it does, it can throw your world off its tilt. I mean, it's so strange. Murph, you said you got called once?
Once, yeah, and I didn't last long. I like 2 days, and I was out. I'm surprised I haven't been called more. Colin just got a jury summons this week, and he's in Tempe, finishing up his year at Arizona State, so he has to let them know it would be really inconvenient to come back. But it is a uniquely American privilege. It's really cool, but yeah, it can be a pain too.
Yeah, I got called once. This would have been, 8 or 9 years ago, it seems like. And I was down there for 2 days, and I knew that I wasn't going to get called, being in the media. I knew that I would get nixed out of there. But so I was pretty far back in the line, but I still had to stay there for 2 days. And just in the time, though, this was before the courthouse was renovated, and you could tell why it needed renovation, because people are sitting on the floor and on stairs, and just piled up in the hallway, and it was really uncomfortable. And I was pretty deep in the line. I thought, okay, well, there's going to be no chance because there's a long line of people in front of me. But the one thing that I was not aware of is that in jury duty or selection for jury duty, people lie like they lie in just about no other situation. I mean,
and it seems like the last place you should lie.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the irony, is that they do not want to be stuck on a jury for a long time. And this was in the summer, in July, where people, clearly had plans. And it was entertaining. I mean, I was just sitting there just like writing like just material, taking notes for material the whole time that I was there, because it was just so funny. People, like one guy got up and he was just like, they put the guy in the stand, they kind of interview him in front of everybody else to see if, he's jury material. And the guy's like, I hate lawyers. I'm like, well, any reason why? No, I just hate them. I don't believe them. I don't believe anything they say. Oh, did you have an episode or no? And he's just figuring that's the quickest way. Just sure enough, just hated lawyers, doesn't trust him. And sure enough, they kicked him out. But then there are other people that are up there and they're like, yeah, I plans, you know, and they're like, really? Well, I mean, you know, and they're lawyers, you know, so they're really convincing in their attempts to try to make you at least feel guilty about trying to get out of jury duty. And they're like, so you don't want to take part in this? You don't want to help uphold the democratic process, you know, one of the key pillars of our American freedom? And the guy's like, no, yeah, I would, but I got a 9:30 tea time on Thursday. You know, I can't, but it was just funny listening to all these excuses. And it really, I think there were only like 2 or 3 people before me. They filled out the jury like 2 or 3 people before me. I almost did get like called up to the stand where I think it would have been kicked off. But I mean, you know, they're talking about what the case was. It was like a malpractice case and sounded really boring. And you could be there for, you know, 3-4 weeks. Jeez. You make jury duty pay, so it's not very much. I mean, your job has to let you off. There were other people that really wanted it though. And you could tell that they maybe had a job that they didn't mind missing for a while.
I had a friend who used to swear the way to get out of jury duty was just to say, is there anything we should know? And you just say, I hate white people.
Yeah.
And he's white. His name is Philip Rogers. He said, that'll get you out because it just kind of confuses everybody. Like, wait, hang on. What? And then from that point on, they just feel like you're not stable. But again, I feel like that's not the spirit of getting
because you are
a trial.
And you're in front of a bunch of other people when you're saying that kind of stuff. So you need to be careful. It's not a private session with just you and the attorney.
Aiden, do we have an update on AD? Are we ever going to see him again?
I haven't heard from him at all today.
What if he's in that TV show that Hassel loves where everybody's an actor except AD? He's the one person who thinks there's a real trial going on. That show, Hassel talked me into watching it. It's great. It's been renewed for a year or two.
So
have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Did you ever watch it, Andy?
Last 2 episodes.
What's it called?
I think
it's called Jury Duty.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's like James Marsden is the Hollywood star that's in this jury too, but everybody else is an actor. The judge is an actor. The case. There's one person who's sincere and doesn't know he's in a TV show. It's really fun.
Is it something ridiculous?
And yeah, it gets increasingly ridiculous, but he's like everybody's in on it, so. It's kind of like a sociological experiment too, how he just kind of rolls with things because it feels real.
Because we do roll with things. Yeah. It's amazing the stuff that we will roll with if it seems like everybody else around us is.
Peer pressure. Also today, the what they call the upfronts in television where the networks go out and they tell everybody what they have coming up in the season. It used to be a much bigger deal than it is now, but NBC revealed today that Michael Jordan is going to become a special contributor to the NBA on NBC, which begins next season. It's going to include the return of John Tesh's Round Ball Rock. You know that one. Yeah, that's coming back. But Jordan is going to be a special contributor. This is a big deal for the NBA. It's a big deal for NBC because he really doesn't do anything like this. Mm-hmm. But how is that defined? Are we going to get the Jordan who talks about every perceived slight, real and imagined at his Hall of Fame? Are we going to get and I took that personally, from documentaries? Are we going to get just a Jordan that doesn't say anything interesting? I don't know. It can't hurt. It's interesting. It's surprising to me.
Yeah, it's surprising because we don't hear from him very often, and that's probably the second biggest reason why it's interesting to have him on there. I mean, first is because he's Michael Jordan.
Right. But number one, he's Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but I mean, he's played his legacy right. He doesn't give too much of himself out there. I mean, you don't see him very often. It's pretty rare.
He's not overexposed.
No, he's not. And even somebody like, I'm trying to, his equivalents in other sports, Tiger Woods, you'll see him at golf stuff, but you don't see him around very often or hear him. Mm-hmm. I feel like you see Wayne Gretzky a lot more than you see Michael Jordan. You just don't you don't see Michael Jordan sitting in the stands at a game or up in a box at a game. You just don't. He's kind of a mystery, right? He's kind of an enigma. You don't really know what he's doing with his extra time. And so you don't get sick of him. Yeah, cash and checks. Clearly he's counting his money still, but you don't get sick of him because you don't get enough of him.
Yeah, I don't know what the special contributor will be, but it can't hurt. What I also liked here is NBC Sports, when they said it to all the stations today, they put out this list just, so you don't.
Just in case.
6 NBA championships, 6 NBA Finals MVP awards, 5 NBA regular season MVP awards, 14-time All-Star, 10 scoring titles, 9-time All-Defensive First Team, all-time NBA career points per game leader at 30 points, elected to the Hall of Fame, NCAA championship with Carolina, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Oh, yeah.
That Michael Jordan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy who played Creed. Okay, now I got it. I'm catching up to it. This is Air Jordan. Oh, thank you, NBC.
I think it's still fun to compile that list, though, right? Because anytime you have a legendary sports figure who's been out of the game for a while, and maybe in some cases out of the game for a long time, it's fun to pull that stuff back out because, when he was doing all this stuff, we were aware of his greatness. There was no doubt about that, but it was so big. It was almost like, probably sitting in the Sphere in Las Vegas and trying to, take the entire screen in at once. It was just so much. So it's fun every now and then with Jordan or with any of these other just absolutely legendary once in a lifetime sports figures to write up that list. And like everything on that list is pure 100% beef. There's no filler in that list. I mean,
you don't have to go to back up second team all NBA with him or
the bottom of the list is 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
I know.
That's the last thing.
I know. Yeah. He doesn't need, here's a guy who needs no introduction, but since it looks this
won
good,
the gold medal too. And I, like won those Olympic gold medals in like the greatest way possible.
The dream team.
84, Bob Knight is the coach. It's in Los Angeles. It's at the peak of our fascination with the Olympics because we've missed the 80 Olympics. The 84 Olympics everybody watched all of that. It was huge ratings for that. And Michael Jordan is one of the main players on that team. And then he's out for the longest time. Well, not even 10 years, but until 92, the dream team, he comes in as the first team of NBA players.
Right.
To win that when we were starving we hadn't won a gold medal since Jordan was there in 84.
The Knight thing is underrated too, Andy, because this was when Bob Knight is at the peak of his powers and his respect. And Knight came out of those Olympics and said, that's the best basketball player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Maybe won't score the most points or win the most championships or anything else. But he said at playing basketball, he's the best I've ever seen. And when Bob Knight says that, it's kind of like, whoa. I mean, it was a big deal at the time. And he kind of looks right.
Yeah. So, I mean, adding him in any way, shape, or form is going to help. But yeah, we don't know what version of Michael Jordan we're going to get. I mean, you know that he's not going to measure any words. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. I hope, unless he, I don't know, maybe he doesn't want to say much. I mean, that's how he normally is. He doesn't say much. You don't hear from him very often. But
you're hoping he'll be more Charles Barkley than Joe Montana. Like Joe Montana just would not say anything interesting. And a lot of players struggle to criticize, ex-players struggle to criticize other players or ex-coaches. And then there's Charles Barkley. And that's part of why he's so popular, because he tells you what he thinks.
And he's got a lot to say. I mean, he does really fill the space. I mean, somebody like Larry Bird really doesn't usually say much when he's being interviewed.
Kind of
quiet. I mean, some of the things he says will be, good, but for the most part, he just doesn't seem like he really wants to talk all that much. But I don't know. We know that Jordan is not in this for the money.
He doesn't need the money. Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for sports and more. Coming up, more Cowboys, Belichick pageant, and what about dads? It's the Guest House Tavern, Northwest inspired Midwestern hospitality, now high or low since our last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
We got to spend a few minutes with Tim Hawkins and his nice wife at Diana, right? Yeah, up at
The patio.
Grimaldis
Yeah, we
on
were
Friday,
like
the
the last
patio.
to leave.
Yeah, they were trying to clean up, and the Hawkinses and Murph and Andy were the only ones still sitting out there on the patio. It was nice to talk to him and nice to see. I mean, these are real people that own these businesses that sponsor us, and real people that we genuinely like. So it was nice to see him, nice to visit with him. Okay, I talked a little bit about this on What's Bugging Andy last night, and I've heard quite a bit about that this morning. I'm getting new carpet I'm going low, first of all. All right. I'm getting new carpet in my house, which
This
that's
carpet is lingering.
that's a nice thing. Well, it started last week. It's an extensive project. We're getting 3 floors of a basement, a main floor and second floor, new carpet. And it needed it bad. But it's quite a process. If you've done this before. I mean, it's essentially moving your house inside your own house. You have to keep everything inside, but you still have to move it all. So we had last week, for most of the week, we had, the couches were in the kitchen. No TV. It was just, we were climbing over the couches to get the peanut butter.
The kids probably think that's fun.
It's a process, but
It's like a fort.
Ben Taylor is doing our carpet. He's a really nice guy, and he listens to the show. And he listened to What's Bugging Andy last night, which I figured he would. So I made sure to let everybody know that I am happy that we could get new carpet. He's doing a really good job, but he knows, man, it is a serious process. Pull all the old stuff out, all the pad. That stuff does not have a handle on it. You can't just easily pick it up and move it out. And then you got to pick up all those tack strips and vacuum up the floor and then put it all down again. And then, that's aside from moving all the furniture. So that's going to be going on
like
all
first
week.
world problems to me.
Yeah. Oh, wish I could have new carpet. You complaining about it? Yeah. First world problems. There's always that guy.
Oh, I just had a great weekend. So I'm going high here on a Monday. It's another beautiful day out, but
so nice.
Sunday, Mother's Day, great to spend with Jenny. She's low maintenance for this.
McDonald's, huh? Oh, no, it's Bop Bops.
Bebops. Yeah,
there you go.
that's her Mother's Day wish is to go to Bebops for a burger and fries. Fine, I can do that. I like a good burger and fries, so that was good. Enjoyed that. Saturday, got to spend some time with Bryce's brother Brian and Brian's wife Melissa. And as Chris Hassel put it, Brian looks like Bryce if you sent him through a youth filter. You're like a younger version of Bryce.
Yeah.
They do look a lot alike.
I do.
And it was great to see them. And Friday, saw from BMW of Des Moines, Way Terry, former Cyclone quarterback, got to cheers a beer with him. So just had a really great weekend, and I've got a good attitude here. I'm kind of looking forward to the week.
I did too. I had a great weekend. I didn't want to come inside. I was outside almost the whole weekend. Starting with the patio stop on Friday, and I was just outside, went to the neighborhood picnic table on Friday until late, and then I came home and grilled and was out all day Saturday, and then yesterday I had to tear myself away from the outdoors to go into work at WHO. So it was just an absolutely perfect weekend.
Jenny spent a lot of time in the yard. There were a couple times I walked out on our upper deck and like waved to her and stuff. So she was out there doing quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
So I did check on her a couple of times, like in between the quarters.
It's work we like to do. People who like to work in their yard. It's heavy. It's hard physical labor, but it just feels so good to be outside right now.
It is nice out. Let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Logier Heating and Cooling, solutions for Des Moines area families for 119 years. The NFL has announced its first game of the season. It will be the Cowboys at Eagles. So Cowboys at Eagles, that's a Thursday night, prime time, NBC. So that will be RVTV Boone. RVTV, where the T stands for train. That is coming up first week. It's kind of become tradition now for the champs to have the first game of the season. I think some people are probably annoyed that it's Cowboys, but this game's in Philadelphia. This is a good way to kick off the season, don't you think? Cowboys Eagles.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what game you could.
It's a division game.
You could pick the Panthers at the Jaguars, and it wouldn't matter. It's the NFL opener. Everybody.
It'd matter a little bit. I mean, this would be better than Panthers Jaguars.
Well,
right?
no, this will be better, but it doesn't matter what the first game of the season is for the NFL. Everybody's so starving for actual games. You also forget how sick of the preseason you are.
Yeah.
By this point,
even shortened, it's still. Bleh. Let's get a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas and Ames at Urbandale. You can vote on X, formerly Twitter. Which frequent national team, national brand, are you most sick of seeing across your screen? Cowboys, your various screens. Cowboys, Lakers, Notre Dame football, or the Yankees? I mean, you're going to get these four even when they're not having a good season, and you're going to get them frequently. Aiden, which one are you most sick of crossing your screens?
Probably the Lakers, I'll be honest. I'm not really an NBA guy, so seeing them being force-fed year in year kind of gets old for me.
That might have been my answer. I was more interested once Doncic was traded to the Lakers. That did, just watching that dynamic and then seeing it implode was kind of entertaining. I think for me,
but
it's
the Lakers
Yankees.
have one of the greatest players in history.
Yep.
And the Yankees have arguably the best player today, or one of the best players today. The Yankees at least have the star power. The Cowboys don't. The Cowboys don't have any of that. They
have the NFL. They got those uniforms.
No, but they are propped up by their past. Really, I mean, I think it's the Cowboys for me. I mean, they are propped up by something that team achieved decades ago. I mean, 30 years ago.
It's been 30 years now. Yeah, that's hard to believe. There haven't been many playoff wins. I don't
think you really get anything from the Cowboys, or you haven't in a long time. Notre Dame, I mean, they've been far more relevant in college football than the Cowboys have been in the NFL. I mean, the Cowboys are it's kind of just branding right now with them, right? You can't watch them and be like, oh, well, at least I got to see Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
You can say that with the Lakers. You can say that with the Yankees, and Notre Dame is good. So I think for me, it's the Cowboys.
I'm going to go Yankees, but you've made a strong argument going Lakers. None of us going Notre Dame football. So we'll see how this vote turns out. Interact
if Brian
on
Kelly
YouTube.
was still coaching Notre Dame, I think that would have been my answer. But Marcus
is
way too likable
yeah.
for me.
He is. I don't know him personally, but he is an unlikable coach. Interact on YouTube on X. It's Murph_Andy. The email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. It is all powered by the Cellular Advantage, proudly representing U.S. Cellular since 1993 with 35 regional locations. For instance, here on some of the interaction today, we've already seen people saying that Marty writes, let's go live to the blackjack table to get Michael Jordan's opinion. That's going to be his contributor role. What if Jordan's special contribution each week was just to give you his gambling thoughts?
People would eat it up.
It would be sponsored. Be no problem getting it sponsored. Let's go to MJ for his picks.
Yeah, I would like to hear his thoughts about current players. I mean, I would.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't know that you'll get them, but that's what everybody's hoping for.
Everyone's hoping for the MJ behind the scenes that sometimes will just be really blunt with his feelings. If that would make for entertaining, because you want to hear what he has to say. Some more hot topics here. Bill Belichick goes to watch his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, compete for Miss Maine. This is the second year in a row she's competed for the Miss Maine title. And from the jump here, before we get to Bill Belichick sitting next to Jordan's father, who looks like he could be Belichick's son, I think this is one more thing that makes this worse, Andy. There's something increasingly creepy about the 73-year-old boyfriend going to see the girlfriend at a beauty pageant. That makes her seem even younger. I mean, she's 24. This makes her seem, I don't know, 19.
Yeah. And with her
beauty
dad,
pageant?
that adds a lot. With her dad, who, looks like he could absolutely be Belichick's son. I don't know. I mean, this is so creepy to begin with, but to have it like illustrated in different ways week to week just does kind of keep adding to the grossness, or just the weirdness of the whole thing. I mean, to keep having it in, I don't know. I mean, at some point we're going to see a photo of them at the beach.
We have.
Where is he? Does he have his shirt off?
No, but she's sitting on top of his feet in the air, like with her arms spread like an airplane.
He's doing airplane with her?
Yes.
Like you did with your kids?
Aiden, is there any way you can find the airplane shot? Yes.
I haven't seen that picture.
It's like one more thing that makes it even stranger. And this also shows that Belichick is giving somewhat of a middle finger to the PR backlash. You don't go to the beauty pageant. There you go, Andy. Enjoy that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's from a few weeks ago.
Well, I was picturing, but my idea was, I was thinking like,
good job, Aiden.
They're walking along the beach. She's in a string bikini, and he's in a pair of, board shorts with, no shirt on, and one of those giant sombreros that old men wear to keep all the sun off their face.
Yeah.
He's got like the zinc oxide nose or something like that. And I do not want to see. I don't want to see anything more about these guys. Honestly, really, I don't want to know anything more about this story.
She finished second runner-up. You want to know that, don't you?
I'm out. I really am out. I've had all I need. I'm good.
All right. Question then. Not trying to serve you more. This is Belichick's buyout goes from something like $10 million to $1 million after June 1st. Do you think he ends up coaching North Carolina football this fall? This thing seems like it's really a problem for North Carolina.
Well,
Can you imagine the meetings? I mean, like the conversations going on behind closed doors there right now?
Well, it would be very difficult for them to find another coach right now and make that transition.
Yes.
I think he coaches there for at least a year, and they see how it goes. I mean, he is Bill Belichick. I mean, you didn't hire him for his taste in women. I mean, you hired him for his knowledge of football, and I mean, they've already put up with so much. Just go all the way through with it. Maybe look, if they win, nobody cares.
I'm fascinated by the whole thing. Iowa ties Oregon State at Principal Park Sunday. Now the Beavers had to leave with the game tied at 6 after 10 innings, had a commercial flight. This is Oregon State, not Oregon. Oregon's not getting on some commercial flight, but Oregon State is. And, there's no tying in baseball. There was a tie. And then Iowa kind of bragged about the tie. The Post says, what's it say up top there, Aiden? Tied the top 10 Beavers.
Yeah.
Couple of exclamation points. I don't know. Do you throw a couple exclamation points on a baseball tie? I don't think so.
Well, they're bragging about it because they list their top 10.
Iowa's got a good
I think you make a
team,
joke
right?
out of the fact that it's a tie. You say, there's no tying in baseball, or I thought there was no tying in baseball, ? Or something like that. You do something like that. But it is strange that they wouldn't have had enough foresight, like when buying the tickets to to make sure that they had enough time to get the whole game in? Because I think even if it was a 9-inning game, they were going to be really tight, right?
Yeah, and I believe they moved the time up in order.
Yeah, that's right. They moved it up. That's right.
Yeah, because they were concerned about that flight time. But yeah, that's a really unsatisfying conclusion to that game. Quickly into the NBA playoffs a little bit. Former Cyclone Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers are one game from the Eastern Conference Finals. They led the top-seeded Cavaliers by 51 at the half. Now, how does that even happen? 51?
Well, and it's even stranger after, Friday night was the Cavs looked like they got everything worked out. I mean, they were in Indiana. They had a great start.
Halliburton had off game that night.
Pacers, came back for a little while, but then Cleveland ended up winning comfortably. It just really looked like they had figured something out, and then the very next game they hadn't. So, and we have some really interesting playoffs in the NBA and the NHL at the same time going on right now.
Todd says 41 at the half. He's probably right. I was not watching closely enough. Whatever it was just ridiculous, and they didn't need
a couple
to come
minutes left in the second quarter,
half.
and yeah, the Cavs had like 34 points.
The Thunder, even the series with the Nuggets, the Thunder have depth. They go like 10 deep, and the Nuggets, especially Nikola Jokic, look gassed, look worn out, look tired. He's the best player in the NBA, but he has not been shooting well. They still had a chance to win this game, but he looks worn out. They don't have the depth of the Thunder, and they had to play a game 36 hours after the previous one, which in an NBA scale these days, that's a lot. Charles Barkley went off on the NBA, putting those two games so close together. But that series is tied at 2. The Celtics did not go to plan B, and plan A did work in game 3. They just kept shooting threes. Andy, like you said they would, and this time in the first quarter, the game was all but over.
Yeah, and it looks like a totally different series at this point. 2-1 with a more the more talented team now coming off the win there. So I knew it was going to feel this way if Boston won this. It was so important for the Knicks to get them down 3-0, but now I think it feels like the Celtics just one more game, work it out, and this series is theirs.
T-Wolves are up 2-1 over the Warriors. The Warriors are not a great watch without Steph Curry. They're not anywhere near as much fun to watch, but this would be good for Des Moines, for Iowa. Mm-hmm. This is the closest NBA team, the Timberwolves. They have a guy who's on the doorstep of being a superstar if he's not there already, in Anthony Edwards. We have the Iowa Wolves here in the Des Moines market. That would be something that could push this market forward a little bit. Because this thing doesn't it feel open right now? It feels like I went into this thinking the Celtics would repeat. I'm not sure anymore. It seems wide open.
No, everybody's been dinged up. Everybody's got issues, and players that are key players. It seems like that are either out or dinged up. This is the best thing for Iowa. Yeah, for the Iowa Wolves. If the Timberwolves go to the finals, that's exactly what you need. You need that affiliation. You need the big club to be more interesting to the people here.
The lottery order is decided tonight. The lottery's not tonight, but the order is decided tonight, and this is the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. Mm-hmm. Cooper Flag, who should just be graduating from high school this month, but of course was the National Player of the Year at Duke. That's who everybody wants. Who has the best percentage here?
Looks like the Jazz. Let me see if I can squint and still figure out who these logos are. The Jazz, is that the Wizards? Is it the
Wizards?
No, is that the
Nets? Or can't tell that logo from my screen.
No, it's not the Nets. Is that the Pistons?
I think it's the Wizards.
It is the Wizards.
It is the Wizards. Yeah. Okay.
And then
go back to the Bullets, or that's just
the Hornets, and then the Hawks, right? And then the Sixers.
That's the Pelicans.
Yeah.
God, let's hope the
so
Pelicans
blind.
don't get Cooper flag. We don't.
Hawks are
sit
down at
here
the bottom
and
of the
go
first
nuts.
row there. Or no, bottom of the second row. Okay.
I could
guess
tell the
that's possible.
76ers. Yeah, that's the Brooklyn Nets right below them, then the Raptors. Okay,
Yeah,
they
the
get a little,
Raptors,
the more familiar ones. And we see the Spurs and the Suns and so on.
Watch the Spurs win this one.
Yeah, if they do, some people will be upset. Now here's Jim Gaffigan on mothers versus fathers.
I think fathers are generally underappreciated. Who would agree with me? Right? Listen to these divorced dads, right? Obviously, the mom is the hero of the story, right? When someone becomes famous, they buy their mom a house. They don't even invite the dad to live there. Often it's easier to understand a mother's contribution. I see it in my family. My children see on a daily basis what my wife does for them. Yet when I travel the country, eating steak and complaining about my kids, do I get credit? I sure don't. Being a dad is like being a backup quarterback in the NFL. You're on the team, but you're not the star. And on those rare occasions you're brought into the game, people are nervous.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Gosh, man, a good mother, good father make all the difference. That's awesome. All right. Send your Grimaldis fan photos to Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. I think you can send these even today. AD's probably bored out of his skull and looking to check some fan photos while waiting on jury duty.
He brings some good stories.
Oh, yeah. He's going to have stories back whenever he's back. Aiden, have we heard from him yet or no?
Still nothing.
Still nothing. Okay. We were at Grimaldis Friday to kick off our 2025 patio tour. Dreams come true. Andy, how long have you wanted to have a patio tour in beautiful weather?
This is a perfect 10 of a day.
This is a 10. Grimaldis on the patio.
I noticed on the patio you got some really good-looking people out here today. Is that every Friday? Just the best-looking people around just show up?
I think that's every day. Yes.
Yeah.
it's an Iowa thing, I believe.
Andy, this one has
Tomatoes, banana peppers,
and huge fan.
red onions.
That's our seasonal pizza right now. It's our Italian hero.
Thank you very much for having us out here. Thanks for being a sponsor of our podcast. We truly appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. I think we've heard so many good things from people who win the contest and get to try Grimaldis for the first time.
I love seeing the photos. Everybody coming in and having a good time, bringing their kids. So it's been great for us as well.
That was a fun first stop. So we're glad to get it going. We got 7 more to go. And this
pizza
week
was fantastic. Gosh,
it was
that
really
tasted
good. Yeah. And again, I think they finally had to ask us to leave. Next stop is Confluence. Weather is again supposed to be perfect, like mid to high 70s and sunny. And they've got a great patio there on the bike trail. And I did get a little inside information, which I can't reveal yet, but they are unveiling a beer at this Friday that they think is going to be a staple.
Yeah, they've got a big one coming up very soon. It's coming out very soon. It is something that has a story behind it.
Yes, it does.
John will tell it to us on Friday.
I saw the label of this new beer. So yes, coming up Friday. Come by Confluence if you can. Again, you can contact AD on whatever, what do they use in the real business world that we're not in? Like however you do that appointment thing, you just schedule an appointment with Andrew for AKC marketing. He'll accept your invitation. And then you just come to the patio to meet him.
One thing too, we have mastered the technology of being able to project audio now. So if you came to a roadshow before last week,
mastered, man, you're really feeling yourself here, aren't you? Did you say mastered? We mastered the technology?
That's correct.
Okay.
So if you went to a roadshow before last week, we did not have like a speaker, but now you can actually come.
What he says is we have a speaker.
Have a good time.
A big one.
Yeah,
big speaker.
We've got a speaker. It looks like an old-time boombox.
Yeah, that sounds like it ought to be easy, but there are more logistical problems with that than we thought before, and even all the years doing the radio show, you would either get feedback or people couldn't hear, or we're hearing our voice 5 seconds later. But these guys solved it, and that was fun to be able to project the audio out there. So yes, we will have it now. That's a frequent question. Now let's get some more here on a Monday, Murph and Andy.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Either Or Eatery and Patio, an absolutely slamming weekend they had. We will be on that patio in just a few weeks. They'll be on our patio tour as well, but you're going to want to hit that place long before then. It is really jamming over there, and it's beautiful. Today is Limerick Day, National Limerick Day.
Are there any you can just recite by heart?
Huh?
Are there any that you just know, like top of your head? If I say, give me an example of a limerick, can you do it?
Yes. We'll leave it at that. I'm going to read a few more. But first of all, for those of you who don't know what a limerick is or not sure, it's a type of humorous, often whimsical poem that follows a specific structure and rhythm. Typically consists of 5 lines with a distinct rhyme scheme of AABBA. First, second, and fifth lines are longer and rhyme with each other, while the shorter third and fourth lines form a rhyming couplet. So, here's an example of a classic limerick. There once was a man from Peru who dreamt he was eating his shoe. He woke with a fright in the middle of the night to find that his dream had come true. Okay?
Limerick.
There was an old man in a tree, da-dum, da-da-dee, da-da-dum, yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, one old man in a tree who was horribly bored by a bee. When they said, does it buzz? He replied, yes, it does. It's a regular brute of a bee. That's not that great a limerick. All right, now, not all limericks are fit for all audiences.
That's how I think of a limerick.
Yeah, dirty limerick, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so, for example, here's one the FCC would frown upon us reading back in the old radio show.
Okay. Earmuffs.
There once was a man from Madras whose balls were made out of brass. When he'd bang them together, they'd play stormy weather and lightning would shoot out of his ass.
That's a good one. Yeah. It's very imaginative. Thank you. I'm kind of dragging a little bit even with the sunshine on this Monday, and thank you. That's a good one.
I got some more.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to hear another one.
A bear taking a dump asked a rabbit, does shit stick to your fur as a habit? Of course not, said the hare. It's really quite rare. So the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit. And here's the best one I found today that I hadn't heard before. There once was a fellow McSweeney who spilled some gin on his weenie. Just to be couth, he added vermouth and slipped his girlfriend a martini.
That's highly inappropriate.
Happy National Limerick Day, everybody. Yeah. The award for 2025's first person to be gored by a bison while ignoring the rules inside Yellowstone National Park goes to an unidentified 47-year-old man from Florida. The incident happened on Sunday, May 4th in the afternoon when the man clearly got too close to the animal for reasons unknown at this time, although speculation is he was trying to take a selfie. Fortunately, his injuries were minor and he was able to be treated by medical personnel. While an investigation is underway, the National Park Service reminds everyone to keep a minimum distance of at least 25 feet from bison.
Selfie is the most logical choice.
Or like he wanted to pet it or something like that, just some dumb reason where you I mean, these are huge animals and they're really dangerous.
How often do you think the first responders and rescuers just get tired of people being idiots and then they have to go risk their lives to go help somebody who did something so foolish? And you had an example in More one time of somebody had to keep getting off a frozen mountain and then they just kept going right back up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do that. Mount Everest is infamous for that. These people that don't know what they're doing go up there and then they have to be rescued. I would think that police officers and firefighters, just regular police officers and firefighters. I mean, that's probably among the biggest annoyances of their job, is that they're always having to rescue people who are just being stupid. They're just not thinking.
Right.
From the Murph, I thought of you. I know you're a high jumper in high school. I thought of you here. From the bowels of Instagram, we bring you this. Boy, the run up sure looks good. Oh, jeez. Oh. What? So, is the pole just not close enough to the mat, or is he not jumping right? What's going on here?
He's not going back at all. He's continuing to move parallel to the bar. Oh man, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, he's like running along the bar.
Yeah,
when
he's
he tries
too parallel
to jump over it.
But
the run up looks good, right? Doesn't he look like he's going to clear that sucker? I mean, he's got high steps. He's tall. He's and then he just
and it also does seem like they call them the stations, whatever those are.
Stanchions?
Stanchions. Good word. How do you spell stanchion, by the way? Is it Stantion?
Is it, or is it an S? I'm not on. Actually, I don't think
stanchion.
I've ever
That's
seen
a word
that
I don't
word
use
typed
much.
out.
But yeah,
Stanchion.
the stanchions also look like they're maybe a little bit too far in front of the pad.
Yeah, because I mean the pad can't come too far out because you
Right.
are trying to get as close to the bar as possible before
It
you
has to be
jump.
behind the bar. I mean, even if by a fraction. But yeah, that poor guy. Jeez.
We should point out that Bernie Sago has passed away. He ran the Iowa High School Athletic Association for a long time.
Yes, it's got to be the longest run anyone ever had in that position.
Yeah, until the early 2000s, I think was it from the 60s or something? He had such a hand in advancing Iowa high school boys high school sports. Did so much, and he was
96.
Yeah, a real gentleman, a really wonderful guy, and just gave his life, really dedicated his life to Iowa boys sports, high school sports. Came from an athletic family. I believe he was a coach and a referee at a very young age, and just made that his life's passion, his life's work, and brought that Iowa High School Athletic Association a long, long way, and he will be missed.
Yes, 1963
Wow.
through 2005. So that is a 42-year run.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's his career at the Iowa High School Athletic Association. Now, not sure. Among his achievements, the creation of the football playoffs in '72. Iowa, the first state to utilize the three-point shot in basketball. That was '82.
Wow.
Prioritizing student-athlete health with wellness and substance abuse coordinator positions. Nation's first wrestling weight management programs. And the expansion of numerous sports. Yeah, a giant in high school sports in Iowa.
Yeah, has been away from the job for a while, but really was still connected, I think, to all of the men who had taken that job, had that job since then. And there have been, I think, 3 or 4 of them since Bernie stepped down. But he was there for a long time and leaves a gigantic legacy. 2 and 5, we'll close with this. The obesity report is out from U.S. News and World Report. It's never good news.
Yeah,
right?
Because it's never good news if you're in Iowa.
It's never good news if you're in America because the number is always going up.
West Virginia.
2 in 5 Americans are obese, and that's the highest rate ever. 39 states with data available posted age-adjusted obesity rates of 30% or more. 3 states had at least 40% of their population obese. to a certain extent, that does say, or it used to say, that you were doing well, right? I mean, when people could get fat, because
that was something Kings tried to do.
Yeah, you wanted to look fat, like you had all the food that you wanted, and then some. Like
As I look at this list that Aiden has put on the screen, this looks bad for Iowa because we're
you don't want to be in that group. The 10 states with the highest obesity rates. Yeah.
I mean, West Virginia might as well be in the SEC. I understand it's in the Big 12. But West Virginia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Oklahoma, you expect that grouping.
Yeah.
And then Iowa. Like, we bring the Big 10, we bring the Midwest into the conversation.
Yeah, Indiana is there toward the bottom, or a couple of spots after Iowa. But yeah, West Virginia, what's their formula?
Darren DeVries is like, I'm getting the hell out of here before I get fat.
You understand. Now, conversely, the states with the lowest obesity rates are also very predictable. Colorado is the fittest state in America. Hawaii, Massachusetts, California, New York, New Jersey, Vermont, Connecticut. And then you get Florida, which a lot of people aren't from Florida, live in Florida, but and Montana there. So states have most of those states have a lot in common, but probably not surprising there. But that's crazy. What was that number again?
AD would be so
West
upset.
Virginia has 41.7% obese. Colorado has 24%.
Ozempic hadn't hit West Virginia yet.
Yeah, Ozempic. They did say that Ozempic is actually having a bit of an effect here. It's not a drug that on America as a whole.
Okay.
It's chipping away. I mean, and that's a good thing. However, you're losing weight. I mean, that's good on your body, but
it's hard.
It's really hard. And if you find an easy way to lose weight, it's like anything. If you can take a pill rather than changing your lifestyle, working out a ton, going hungry, you will pay a lot of money for that pill, right? I mean, that saves you a lot of time and energy. That's your more, everybody.
All right, thank you, Andy. It is time now for Throwdowns. No Andrew Downs, but Aiden steps in here to Throwdowns, presented by Heartland Tire and Auto, where they treat you like family.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns, backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
All right, guys, we talked about the NBA lottery already. The question is, are you more interested in the actual basketball being played tonight or the NBA lottery?
Actual basketball for me, because I don't have enough of an emotional attachment to any team to be sitting there and being on pins and needles about this really boring lottery draw. Yeah. Like, if you have a team you're all in for, like, let's pretend this lottery was about the St. Louis Cardinals and the lottery were baseball. I know Andy would really care about this. So I think it just depends on how emotionally invested you are in a particular team.
Or if you have a player like Victor Wembanyama, right? I mean, who, what was you just knew he was going to make or potentially make a gigantic difference. I don't think we have that this year. So that changed. Oh, Stansin. Wow, we were both wrong. Stanchion.
Where are you seeing this?
Herky the Cat has posted that. I'll pop it up here.
Stanchion. Oh, that's how you spell Stanchion.
Yeah, Stanchion. Nice.
Stanchion.
Maybe Herky is from a family of dairy farmers.
Probably.
I'm more interested in the games. These have been interesting games. I mean, just the wild swings back and forth. You really don't know what's going to happen.
All right, Andy. Chris Burman signed an extension with ESPN that will make him the first ESPN employee to celebrate 50 years with the company in 2029. Is the Swami the biggest icon in ESPN history?
Yes. I don't think it's close. He was a little too ubiquitous. He was everywhere, and his signature calls got a little old. But Chris Burman changed sportscasting. He made it. Oh my God! I mean, did anybody ever add more to sportscasting than Chris Burman? I mean, he really, truly he almost made it like a spectator sport itself. I mean, you wanted to
Yeah.
tune in to see what he said and the nicknames he came up with, and the catchphrases that he would have. It was so witty, funny, had so much energy, seemed like he got along with everybody. He was an institution. Haven't thought about him for a while.
Yeah,
Actually,
he still
I'm kinda
contributes
interested in
here
this.
and there. He's not on very much. I think he's 70 years old now, but he was there, and it was a convergence of just a bunch of factors that were unlikely to come together. He just happened to be a young local sportscaster that was right there near Bristol, Connecticut. So he was available and affordable and started, and he grew as ESPN grew. And then, yes, as it exploded into this thing, it's Aiden, somebody your age, it's probably hard for you to imagine, but like when Andy was in college, people would like gather at fraternity houses and dorm rooms just to sit around and watch SportsCenter. I mean, that's hard to imagine now, but that's what it was like. And they're not approaching that level of popularity now. They're facing different problems. Now they're putting their money into games because with social media, that's what makes people watch. And then the rest of it is engagement farming. They're, like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. They're just constantly posting things to get a reaction out of you and to get into your algorithm. This was a different time. This is when the highlights were the stars for different reasons. But yeah, he's the biggest figure in ESPN history in my mind.
Agreed. Last one here, Murph. It is officially graduation season. Think back to your time as a youngin'.
Okay.
Were you more excited to graduate high school or college?
College, by far. I always felt like I had to graduate high school, and I would graduate high school, and everybody in my family had graduated high school. But in my immediate family, no one had graduated college. Everybody had been, but no one had finished for various reasons. So I was really looking forward to that, and it was a big point of pride in the family, and easy answer for me.
Yeah, I'll take it in a different direction. I had more fun at my high school graduation. I mean,
What did you do? Like, what was your tradition?
Well, I don't really know what the tradition. We had a big party at the high school after graduation, and we all went back for that. But it obviously was in town, so my parents and grandparents and brother and sister were there. My parents famously left early to beat the traffic. So after that was totally my dad. Imagine my mom was chewing him out the entire way home, but it was back in this park, this city park that was really, it had only one entrance and exit. So it was terribly choked, but, so I was a commencement speaker, and, afterwards
you were the speaker?
Yeah, we had a few of them.
Okay.
But I was down on the floor looking for my parents, and everybody else's parents hugging them and taking pictures and everything. And I could not find anybody from my family. I was like, I know they were here. Where are they? And then somebody finally was like, yeah, Andy, they took off a little while ago, right after your speech was over there, or they saw you walk and get your diploma, and then they left.
You were like Richard Gere at the graduation ceremony, an officer and a gentleman. Everybody's hugging their family, and he's
my dad.
Bad. He just couldn't find anybody to hug.
My dad was the king of the Irish exit. I mean, he would peace out of anything, just to beat the traffic. But it was really fun. We went back to high school, and then had a party that night. I had a bunch of friends who rode together in Dave Myhouse's pickup truck.
Dave Myhouse?
And
Myhouse.
Myhouse,
his last name.
Yeah, Dave Myhouse.
How do you spell that?
Meihaus.
And it's pronounced Myhouse.
Myhouse, yeah. So, and then I had a friend, Mike Morehouse.
So my house and a Morehouse?
Yeah.
So when my house needed more house.
Yeah, you put those two together and they had each other, right? But they were in Dave Myhouse's truck, and they decided on the way home from graduation that they were going to do the Stand By Me mailbox baseball.
Oh gosh.
And they
That's
got
terrible.
caught
Ooh.
by the police, pulled them over, and they all went to jail. And they
Like behind
all,
bars?
behind bars, went to
Big
jail.
clunk.
Yeah, went to
Wow.
jail. Spent the rest of the night in jail.
Destruction
Missed
of property.
the senior party. And there was like 10 of them.
And I think mailbox is on like a higher level than some destruction of property.
That's a
right?
federal offense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
federal
it
offense.
is. Yeah. They got thrown in jail. And we were like, where are these guys? And this is, nobody had a cell phone or anything. Had no idea until like the next day. We were like, where were you guys? They were like, yeah, we don't want to talk about it.
Wow.
That's throwdowns.
Yeah, our tradition, it's just easy up there, Aiden. I understand you got things to do. Our tradition was to go over to Daytona Beach. Like the friendship groups would go over there. You'd rent a hotel room, and everybody's a cheap ass. So there's like 8 guys in one room, and you're trying to decide who gets a piece of the bed, who's on the couch, who has to sleep on the floor, all of that stuff. Yeah, that was our high school tradition.
I remember us renting I remember us renting hotel rooms in high school, which is crazy. I mean, there is no way that Kahala would go for that or would not, sniff it out.
Oh yeah.
If our kids try that.
Hey, I'm glad we didn't have all these ring cameras. Because kids can't sneak in and out anymore. If you have those, they're on camera. They're on camera all the time. Yeah, it'd be tough to pull one over.
Yeah, graduation though, both high school and college graduation. Those are great days. I was to my Drake graduation. I was late. My brother Toby had come up and stayed overnight, and he might have been in high school. Yeah. Anyway, he stayed and partied with us. At the Theta Chi house, and everybody was crashed, and somebody woke up and was like, graduation ceremonies.
Your stripes.
Cap and gown.
It's stripes.
I was running down Forest Avenue in a cap and gown to make it to Drake Stadium, which, as you remember, I really didn't know where that was.
Oh my God.
Because I hadn't been in there since orientation, my first year. So I ran into the stadium and I was not in my correct place in line. My parents were worried that I didn't graduate at the last second.
Son, where is your sergeant? Blown up, sir.
Blown up, sir.
Oh man. All right. Somebody
I think we're
pointed this
done.
out. Yeah, we're almost done. What if this MJ to NBC thing, what if he's replacing Freud? He's just like coming over to 13 as a special contributor. Unlikely. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, pretty unlikely, but
Pretty unlikely.
we
All
can
right, good
dream.
point.
Would that be good though? There's no way he's going to shoot state wrestling. You think I complained about having to shoot soccer out in Denison, Schleswig? Wait until MJ has to do it.
That would be such a good sketch if you could do like, Michael, we need you to go to state wrestling today and shoot about 37 matches. We'll probably use about 10, but we just need you to be there all day, shoot the wrestling.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to need to run back into the hallway when you can between matches to do some interviews. Huh?
Right. And then finish that up, and then you can't work the rest of the week because no more overtime. You've had too much overtime.
Just having that conversation with Michael Jordan would be fun. All right, time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. No Andrew Downs. He has jury duty, but we call this the AD squared, and it is presented by Game Day Men's Health.
Keeping it in the theme of the NBA lottery, let's throw it back to the 2003 Cleveland Cavaliers winning the LeBron lottery.
The third pick goes to the Denver Nuggets. Will Memphis get number one? The second pick goes to the Memphis Grizzlies. And that means that the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Those guys aren't even in the shot at that point.
I think they might have thrown themselves off the building. They just
that was one of those drafts, right? I mean, there was a clear number one, and that does make the lottery interesting. And then there's all the conspiracy theories that follow.
Quickie poll results are presented by WCI Pools and Spas. Our question today about the frequent national teams you're most sick of seeing on your screens.
The Cowboys, the leader here by a healthy margin, 42%. 29% say the Lakers. 15% go with Notre Dame football, and only 14% say they are tired of the Yankees. The Cowboys.
Yeah, well, if you get a chance to watch Aaron Judge hit right now, that is worth it. He is on a tear that's frequently been approached in Major League Baseball history. Aiden, thanks for jumping in. You and Matt, appreciate you very much.
Yes, shout out Ben Winks. He helped a lot in this.
Helping AD be a good, responsible American.
I hope he's got some stories, right? I mean, you got to get some stories.
What if he's in like a lengthy murder trial and it's like several months before we see him?
Yeah, he's going to have to feed us some details, right? So we can use them in the show if that happens.
Yeah.
Can you have a cell phone in jury duty?
I don't think you're allowed to share anything from the trial with anybody else.
Yeah, that's all right.
But we won't can risk jail for the good of the show.
We'll keep it on the down low.
We won't tell more than 50,000.
Just the listening audience. That's it.
Thank you for being part of Murph and Andy here and supporting local media on Iowa Everywhere. We sure appreciate it. Please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're finding us. Invite your friends to the party. We're back Wednesday. We don't know if AD is, but we hope you're back with us Wednesday.